Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spot 127 Boot Camp. I'm very happy that you guys are here today. Today is our last day of boot camp. Over a 2-week span, over 30 students have joined us to create some of the most beautiful art, enhance their Photoshop skills, enhance their script writing skills, interviewing skills, journalism skills, and to make a lot of friends here on our last day. I'm very proud of every single student that we have here. And today, they're going to be doing their final podcast as a group together, something that they have worked on all this week. Ladies and gentlemen, as a disclaimer, not that I like to put one, but very similar to a blueberry Fago, I must say this. We are going to be talking about Black Lives Matter and the movement. Now, the opinions all come from students themselves. And the most important thing about Spot is that not only are they coming here to learn journalistic values, but to tell a story. And the stories that they're telling is of each other and what they're seeing in this movement. As we know, adults, I should say, we have pretty much all the power. We're the ones that vote. We're the ones that write newspaper articles. We're the ones that report. And we're the ones that pretty much write history for the next generation. It's important to Spot 127 that teens tell their story. So, with no more further to ado, I would like to say this. In the 9 years that I've taught boot camps here at Spot 127, this has to have been my favorite boot camp so far and the most eye-opening one in this wild time in this world. Whether it's protests that are going on, peaceful protests that are going on, and whether it's Corona and having these teens be at home, they've truly, truly know what it is to grow. Um, let's begin. I'm going to hand it off to our host, Joseph Harrington.
One of the biggest topics throughout the world today is the Black Lives Matter movement. The killing of George Floyd set the whole world spinning out of control. This is Joey Harrington for Spot 127, and this is Spot On. I would like to start off with a question for Juliet. Do you think the killing of George Floyd was the sole beginning of this movement?
I think it was the sole beginning of this movement to continue the fight for Black Lives Matter. And I think George Floyd was the man that broke the straw and really inspired people to really push on with the Black Lives Matter movement and protesting. But there's a bunch of other more victims. George Floyd was just the man that he was the inspiration for the entire movement for now.
Interesting. Valentino, do you have any second thoughts on that?
I say he was kind of the beginning, because there have been many events like this in the past that people have made big deals about, but they actually haven't gone this far and did like big protests. So like when George Floyd died, like the world was enraged and people went on riots. They were getting in fights with the police. It just wasn't good for anyone. So yeah, that's my opinion on the matter.
Yeah. Thank you for your opinion. Joshua Pate, do you have anything to say about that?
I kind of agree with what they both said about how it was one of the main causes that helped start it. One of the examples I would use to compare this to is the start of one of the world wars wasn't because of the assassination of the Archduke, but it helped spark why the war started in the first place, is because the Archduke was assassinated. And I think that's a little bit similar to the situation where there was already turmoil and then somebody died and then people started to start the revolution or their protest because of it.
All right, I understand that. Varsha, are you fascinated by this or does it scare you?
I'm fascinated by the movement because it's really great to see how all sorts of people are coming together to fight for one cause. And I'm also a little bit scared to see how many people don't support it and how they're actively trying to go against it. But I'm mostly fascinated because it's just great to see how people are going to protest and how those that can't are supporting in their own ways.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Dustin, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, for me, I think it kind of scares me because of the looming threat of the COVID-19 virus still here, and we still don't have a cure. But with all of these protests and the riots, and how they aren't abiding by social distancing, or some of them aren't wearing face masks, it endangers not only themselves but whoever they bring the virus back home to. And considering that many states right now are having a big comeback of coronavirus cases, it is quite scary to me, and I kind of think it might be some connection between the two.
Thank you for sharing your opinion. Now, Marcus, how do you feel about the generalization happening during this time? And how do you think you can stay neutral from the different biases and prejudices?
I think the generalization of that's happening during this is kind of I'm not sure what to say here.
Okay,
Sorry,
that's all
sorry,
right.
I'm at a
Yeah,
loss for words.
yeah, that's all right. Jose, how do you feel about the generalization that's happening during this time?
I believe that the generalization defeats the purpose of the Black Lives Matter movement, and not only against like people of color, but like generalizing white people or cops. Uh, that really defeats the purpose, because the Black Lives Matter movement was made because police officers were generalizing people of color, and to do the same, and for people of color as well, like any other person, to do the same towards police officers and white people. That 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 shows level of hypocrisy that I believe um, defeats the purpose of the whole movement and what people are trying to get rid of.
Okay, I understand that. And Joshua Jenkins, do you trust the police?
Yes, I do trust the police, but of course I'm still cautious. I don't approach or get approached by police and panic or assume that I'm going to die. But at the same time, I know I can't be too calm or relaxed because things can go south depending on what type of cops you encounter. But I know not all police are bad. For example, like my most recent basketball coach was a Caucasian police officer, and he was the nicest guy I've ever met and one of my favorite coaches. But as nice as people like that can be, being African American, you have to have your guard up. Even if you get pulled over, you might still end up with a gun aimed at your head or get unfair treatment. So it's changed the way I have to drive when I'm on my own. I have to have my wallet, license, and registration on the dash before I go. And just in case, because I don't want to have to reach for anything out of sight and risk getting shot or anything. But to sum it all up, I don't fear or distrust the police. I'm just careful about how I speak or interact with them because it can get hostile very quickly.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. Lacey, do you have any second thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do, and I don't trust the police. You see, I come from a law enforcement background, so I know all my rights, and I've known them since I was 10 years old. And much as I don't like to admit it, there's a lot of injustice in the system, which is why my family went into that in the first place. So I completely understand why you do and you don't, but right now I'm kind of skeptical on whether if I trust them or not. It's kind of a toss-up.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Hannah Bergeron, why do you think that so many people prefer to label it All Lives Matter instead of Black Lives Matter? Frankie, do you have any thoughts on that? Why do you think people like to label it All Lives Matter instead of Black Lives Matter?
Well, I think there are two types of people who say these things. I think some people say it because they're just ignorant to they just don't know. They might think like, oh, I want to be inclusive to everyone. And some people are doing it to actively, attack the Black Lives Matter protests. And I think the biggest problem is that many people don't understand that Black Lives Matter isn't contradicting. It's not contradictory to All Lives Matter. It's just saying that a certain group of people feel like their lives haven't been valued the same, and so they're saying we matter too. That's what they're saying. We matter too.
Okay. I understand that. Brooklyn DeMar, do you think the world technological advancements have impacted this movement for the better?
Definitely. I think that having social media and the advancements that we do allow a lot of different perspectives that we can see from people who have actually attended protests or who are very involved. Whereas before social media, we had the media, and we still do have the media, but it can be very political and it can be very leaning towards where the media wants you to see. Whereas if there were people who have been to protests, who have been activists, who have the information and they're sharing it through social media, people can see different views that are not swayed and persuaded in a way that show the full truth of what's happening.
Okay. Thank you for your opinion. Juliet, do you have anything else to say on that?
Kind of adding on to what Brooklyn said about the expanding of the social media with Black Lives Matter, I have been noticing that people are using the Black Lives Matter movement as a trend. And it's okay to use a trend to bring awareness. It's 100% okay. That's what we're supposed to do as social media. Social media is now known as the new government. But there's a difference between using it to bring awareness and using it as a trend to bring more followers, attention onto you. It's not about you. It's not about what you're posting pictures of. This is about a whole movement of oppression and the amount of years and hard work they've done to stand for what they believe in. So for a lot of people to go and either post for pictures and just randomly post the Blackout Tuesday, that's not helping, and it's taking away from the main message of what these people have been fighting for such a long time.
Okay. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Now, Michael, do you think rioting and looting has any effect? Why do you think people are looting?
I think rioting and looting has a huge effect, especially as a threat. Well, based on most of the oppression that's been throughout many years for the minorities and for Black lives, it has affected so many people, and they all want to come back and like show that you can't really do that. But at the same time, it gets a little bit abusive when you start looting. It's not needed now.
Do you think people have gotten to the point where they think peaceful protests are not enough?
To me, peaceful protests, it has gone to that point where a lot of times we have had peaceful protests, like with Martin Luther King. Some people don't think that it was enough. That's why this is still happening. So that's why that might be the reason why we're doing violence or using violence.
Yeah, thank you. Frankie, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think people have been protesting for like 50 plus years, and a lot has changed, but not enough. And when it comes to rioting and looting, personally, I think it's completely all right when it comes to these big corporations and stuff like that, corporations that take advantage of the people and use slave labor in other nations and stuff like that. So as long as these rioters and looters aren't attacking small businesses, it's fair game. They can burn it down, burn down Target. I'm fine with that.
Sophie, do you have anything to say on that?
I feel like some of the looting is just using the Black Lives Matters movement's name and just like besmirching it through their own actions of looting, even if it's not in that name of the movement. They're just taking advantage of a chaotic situation to begin with. And I can see that some people are looting because, you know, Corona has hit everyone hard. Some people have lost jobs and some people literally have no income. So I can see why some people are looting, but in terms of the movement, I believe some of the looting is just really hurting the name and just not working in front of the public eye.
Joshua Pate, what measures do you think people are willing to take when pushing new laws?
I think that people will go to what they think will be necessary at the time being, and I like to think about how history often repeats itself throughout stuff, and that's one of the reasons why we teach it in school. And so, in general, like the American Revolution, people literally went to war to fight for their freedom. The French and Indian War, people literally went to war to fight for their freedom. So I feel like you can't really put a, like what people say with, you can't put a price on freedom. I think that really applies to here. Like people go to what they think they need to go to in order to get to their end goal where they want to go.
Okay, I think a lot of people would agree with you on that. Natalie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, can you say the question for me?
What measures do you think activists are willing to take when pushing new laws?
I think they would like go above and beyond because they're fighting for their rights, you know? Like they're looting, they're doing riots, people are dying. But yeah.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. Now, Edgar, how do you think it will be viewed in the by future generations?
I'm not entirely sure how it'll be viewed by future generations, if I'm being totally honest. Whether this push for the movement will be a success or a failure, it's only time will tell. But whether it will be viewed as right or wrong, I think there will be a lot of arguments on both sides because there's been a lot of wrong committed during this movement, and there's also been a lot of right committed by both sides. So instead of choosing one side, I feel like it'll be more of a gray area, like how life often is. It'll be more of a there was no real right answer here type of thing.
Okay, that's an interesting opinion. Michael, do you have anything to say on that? Michael Fergus?
Yes, I think it's kind of like Edgar said, only time will tell. It'll be good, it'll be bad. But I also think that it'll be viewed as like kind of like a coronavirus spreading thing. So it could be good, it could be bad, but I think it'll also be viewed as part of the coronavirus. And that is definitely negative.
Okay, thank you. And does anybody have any last thoughts that they would like to share? No.
I think we should touch a little on the looting and rioting. I heard a lot of people say that it was unacceptable or it's not the way to go. And I think personally, as a person who has never gone through oppression and many people who have never been a minority or have gone through oppression, we don't get to, I personally think that we shouldn't have to have a say in how they get to fight for their freedom and their equality because we have never been put in the compromising positions that they have their entire lives. And I think that specifically what they're doing is what they feel the need to get to the equality of where they want to be at. And I think many times people will look down on the looting and rioting, and I think we should ask ourselves why people are looting and rioting. Sure, there are some people who are just looting to loot, but there are others who just don't aren't financially stable. They need the food, they need the clothes, and we should really be asking ourselves why people are put in that kind of situation from that systematic racism from the very beginning, and they've never been given those opportunities to have those things such the way that I do and the way they're fighting for equality. I don't think that as a person of Caucasian descent or anyone who's not a minority and who's not oppressed should be able to tell someone who is going through the struggles and oppressions how to fight for their rights.
Thank you. That's very interesting. Does anybody else have anything to add?
Yeah, to kind of branch off what Brooklyn said, I'm not trying to disagree or anything, but I don't think you need to necessarily know what it's like to be oppressed or to have these feelings, because whether or not you're black or white or whatever race you are, you should know that if you're in a protest or if you're rioting and you're like looting a Foot Locker, like what does that achieve? Like, you're obviously doing that to take advantage of the fact that, oh, I can get some free shoes from the store. Like, yeah, you might be black. Yeah, you might be upset about what's going on, but how does that help? Like, how does that help your cause? If anything, it hurts it, because then they're going to look at it like, well, these people are just using it as a opportunity to like steal and loot, and like burning down Wendy's or Walmarts and stuff like that might get their attention. But like, how does that help you? Like, all you're doing is causing destruction to a city. Like, I don't think that's the right way to go about things. You don't necessarily have to be peaceful all the time, but burning stuff down and stealing when it doesn't give you any advantage, I don't see the purpose of it, no matter what your cause is.
Okay, thank you everybody for sharing your opinions today. I want to wish you all a good day.
And that is the end of our podcast. Everyone unmute your mics. Really, 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 really good job.
Say good name, mate.
All right. Wow.
They did it.
You did it. Let's chat about it real quick.
Good job, Joey.
Yeah, just
Joey.
adding the mute thing is just,
No, Joey,
I kept forgetting.
you got an A on this one. And for everyone else, I want to say this. This is a hard topic to talk about, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For everyone.
But it's an important topic to talk about.
Yes, it
But
is.
it's an important one. I want to give a big shout out to a special guest that actually is watching the live stream right now. Rio Salado College is watching our live stream right now, and they stayed for the entire thing, and they're still here.
Hi, Rio.
Hello.
Yeah, that's a big deal. And one of the things I want to say to many of you teenagers, that if you felt like you were struggling in your I'm going to mute your mic just real quick, Joshua, only because I'm getting feedback. If you guys feel like you were struggling with your answers, it's because it's a difficult topic. It's a difficult topic. There's no easy way to say it, but I want to say I'm proud of every single one of you. Joshua, can you unmute your mic now? Because I want to say something.
Yeah.
The final thought I thought was beautiful, but shared between you and Josh and you and Brooklyn. I didn't expect you to jump in.
Yeah.
And it sounded so beautiful because Brooklyn was the strawberry on top of the cake. You just happened to be sprinkles on top of that strawberry.
Yeah,
So
what I wasn't trying to say, Joshua, I wasn't trying to say like looting for like random stuff. Like I was trying to distinct the two different types of looting. I was talking about more about the wealth gap from systematic racism, and that's what I was talking about, the looting from what started in Minneapolis in the Target, because they were getting supplies for the tear gas and getting supplies for the protests that they were getting hurt from, which I was trying to distinguish the two different like looting,
Yeah,
which I think
that's
did
why
a poor
I
job.
kind of disagree, because like I was like, I don't know if I'm looking at the bad side, but I just wanted to clarify, like in case you were looking at it from the bad side.
Joshua, it was so cool. It was so cool seeing you have the last word. I just want to say this, Joshua, you're going to be a senior, right?
Yeah.
So to give you some heads up, when Joshua came to the very first boot camp, he was an 8th grader going into high school, I believe. Correct, Joshua?
Yeah.
He was an 8th grader going into high school. He had goggles on, like basketball goggles. And he did his very first podcast. And I forget what it was on, but he had the last word in it. And he was grouped in a group with a bunch of seniors, Jenny Alvarez and a bunch of other seniors. And he knocked it out of the park. And that I had like PTSD flashbacks. Maybe it's not PTSD, that's the wrong word, but it was flashbacks of his very first boot camp. I want to say I'm proud of all of you, and I want to say I'm proud of 2 specific people right now. Okay? Actually, I'm going to throw 3 specific people out right now. One is Marcus Bravo. Marcus, you did great. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
Cicely Davidson, where is she? Can she say hi real quick?
Hello.
There you go. Cicely, I want to say I'm super proud of you because you were like, hey, I really don't have anything to say on this one, but I'm going to be here for you guys. That's important to me. And then the next one, and I believe she's in here. Hannah, you there? Let's see if Hannah's there.
Yes.
Okay, I'm very proud of you, okay? Hannah?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just questioning how are you proud of me? Like,
Okay, I'm gonna tell you how I'm proud of you. Okay? Sometimes we get scared of talking about certain topics. That's normal. That's gonna happen through your life and everyone's life that is here. There are still things that me and Big Boss are scared of talking about. More so me talking about, not so much Big Boss, because she's fearless. Okay? I'm proud of you because you did something where you said, I don't feel I'm capable of this. Let me hand it off to someone else. And the rest of you guys picked up on it. The beautiful thing about Spot is it's not about individual projects if you haven't learned. It's about building something together. You guys built a production. Do you guys realize that? That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing. Like, and you got to talk about what you wanted to talk about. Crispy nostalgia, as Jose would say. So I just want to say I'm super proud of all of you. Joey, how hard is being a host?
Well, I just like, and all the practice things, like I have to press between the meeting, my Google Docs and Discord. Then just when I had to mute and unmute, it was just like one step too much, and I just couldn't I kept.
It takes practice, right?
Yeah.
That's why we do it. Hamlet, any words of motivations for the student?
Y'all did all right. No. You guys did really
mediocre.
It's always hard to do these kinds of subjects because it's so touchy, and I gotta tell you, I just want to say that you dudes have been able to pull off a more mature and informative discussion between people of different perspectives than like 90% of the rest of the internet when it comes to this subject.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys can be genuinely proud of yourselves, because I know that me and Trevor are overwhelmingly proud of you all for showcasing that not only are you able to diversify the topics that you're able to discuss, and not only are you guys able to switch hosts and still keep that same like energy vibe, like going around, keeping the conversation alive, but you've also demonstrated your capacity for next level thinking. And man, I just gotta say, like, if our community's future is in your guys' hands, then it's in very safe hands. And I'm very grateful for you all. Thank you for everything.
Good. Yeah.
Love you, Hamlet.
In a
Can I say
non-threatening
something?
way. In a non-threatening way.
Non-threatening way.
Give it to Michael because Michael has bounce. Go for it, Michael.
So I have to go right now. I have something to do, and I enjoyed being with you guys for this boot camp. I can't wait for summer session. And Trevor, You gave me something to do this summer at least.
I
He
didn't
gave
do it.
us also need to do.
Spot did. Yeah, I kind of gave myself something to do. Yeah. So it's not me. It's Spot. Remember, I am not Spot. Spot is Spot. That's the way it
But
should
you
feel.
make Spot what it is, though.
Yes, you are.
And I'm so glad we're recording this.
You don't understand that.
Yeah, Trevor.
You think every time you talk about something, it's mental.
Yeah, keep it recording. Yeah.
What did Joshua say?
I said if you weren't the host, like after the first year, I would not have came back.
Awesome.
Thank
If
you,
Trevor was
man.
not destructive.
No offense, Hamlet. I'm sorry, but
Nah, I did hurt.
Well,
Hamlet is hurt.
I want you to remember this. This is my last boot camp that I'm doing, Joshua. I know you're going into college next year, but the vibe that I have created will stay at Spot with whoever the next instructor is. It will be there. I'll always be there to peep in. I'm always going to be there to help the instructor and so on like that. But it's important that you guys are creating constantly create. I think I've said this before, there will be a point where you get tired of creating because you just get exhaustion. It just happens. But what I want you to know is that while you're creating, I guarantee you this, you won't feel depression. You won't feel some crazy anxiety. You won't feel like you're not worth it, because that's what teenagers go through nowadays. Let's be honest. You guys go through this. Who am I? What am I? Why am I sad? I don't understand these feelings, and I'm not good at anything, but I'm also scared to try something because I don't want to fail at it. Am I wrong on any of those? No, thank you, Valentina.
Basically, just describing when I was 15 years old.
Yes. What? But the thing is,
Last year.
I'm describing what I was at 15 years old as well, and I'm telling you what some people are still today at 30 years old, and I don't want you to go through that. So, the big thing is come to Spot. The Discord for you guys, the Discord that's here, will be open until next Friday. In there, you can ask me questions about summer session. You can put more memes in there. Sicily, I'm expecting more memes. The one meme that I want to put in the lounge right now, I hope I can find it. I'm going to type in. Oh man, I just found like the perfect meme, unless it went somewhere else. Oh man, I'll probably put it in after the chat. No. Here it is. This is literally what I felt like this entire week when I was helping behind the scenes and putting you guys together. Tell me what was your favorite parts about boot camp?
You guys waking me up early in the morning.
How they some memes?
What's our memes?
Not just memes, my Discord going off.
Did you guys like Discord?
Yeah.
I love Discord. I thought Discord was kind of fun.
Yes, very
I
much.
like playing with Photoshop. It was fun.
Me too.
Who said that?
I think my favorite part was getting to reconnect with all you guys.
Thanks.
Connecting with new people.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
We met new people. That's so great.
Joey, what was your favorite part about boot camp?
I like Photoshop more. I don't know.
Yeah? We'll have more Photoshop. Pate, what was your favorite part?
A lot of Photoshop work for sure. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun there.
Carson, I know we didn't get to chat so much, but I hope you enjoyed this.
It was interesting.
When yet another podcast goes smoothly.
I
need my charger.
Let me having some speaking time with Carson because I want to give her some attention. What do you feel the program could improve on?
I don't know. I think a little I don't know. I'm kind of a slow learner. Like it takes like a couple of days for me to finally figure out things. So like with Photoshop, I understood it. It's just I wish I had a little bit more practice with it.
Gotcha. In the summer session, we will have more practice. The thing about boot camp is boot camp's like an accelerated thing, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you this, that if you came to the next one that has a physical location, it's way different. Right, Hamlet, Juliet, everyone? That's
Oh yeah.
Very much.
Definitely.
A lot more.
You get a lot more time
once,
to
like,
learn and work on.
COVID-19 goes away and it's like over with and stuff, go to the actual location because it's the vibes there are immaculate.
Yeah.
arcade.
Yeah. No, Juliet
Love
said it
it
right.
there.
Like everyone that comes to Spot, no different than this boot camp, has the attitude of like they want to be there. They want to grow. They want to do things. Brooklyn, did you enjoy boot camp?
Yes, I loved it.
Thank you.
I think
Brooklyn,
the photos. Sorry, go ahead.
go. You go first.
Photos. I don't have like any experience in Photoshop before, and I know a lot of kids here have done Spot before, so I was brand new to the scene, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. It just was totally brand new, and I think the way you introduced it was awesome, and the way you had it focused towards media and business cards was really cool. But my favorite part of it was the podcast. I loved just having the topics, and even if we hadn't done a podcast out of it, I loved hearing other people's viewpoints and opinions, and just talking to a bunch of teenagers that are going through the same things, and you think you're alone, but you're really not. And I think this was a great way to just really it was awesome, and I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Brooklyn, I want you to either write this down or remember this name.
Okay.
When you go talk to Corva Coleman, I want you to tell her this.
Okay.
Trevor said, I am the next Brianna Frank.
Brianna Frank. I will write her name down right now.
Trevor says, I am the next Brianna Frank. Hands down.
Okay.
And when you have time, Google who
Frank.
Brianna Frank is. Brianna Frank, who Corva knows very well, was the very first student to graduate from Spot 127. And she went to Walter Cronkite, and she now works for the Arizona Republic as a journalist, and was on The Blaze, which is ASU Cronkite's news, like as a host and everything. And you have her ability hands down at her age, and I was one of her instructors. So she is the most
Thank you. I
successful.
appreciate it.
She is one of the most successful students to come out of Spot 127. So yeah. The other thing, Michael Ferguson, my man, how'd you enjoy boot camp?
It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah. Do you enjoy your time?
Yeah, it's just kind of chill, and I like that.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Thank you. I'm super happy you're here. Valentino, my Twitch streaming brother, how did you enjoy Spot?
I loved camp. I'm definitely gonna do the summer session. And it was really fun. I got to improve my Photoshop skills. I can now edit photos a lot better than I used to. And I met a lot of new people, and I just got to socialize like a bit more than I normally do. And that was a plus for me.
Man, I'm glad I got this on recording. Great soundbite.
Yes.
Sophie, in your
How's it
very one last thing, Valentino, I'll make sure to call your dad back. We were playing tag because he was trying to sign you up for summer.
What?
So yeah. Sophie, in your last boot camp here, how are you feeling?
It was definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm glad I joined in at the last second though.
Babe. Lacey, how do you feel about boot camp?
It was nice, and as you know, I've been with you since freshman year, so it's kind of good to have like our one last hurrah, whatever you want to call it, together.
Yeah. Yeah. Cicely Davidson, I am so happy your dad contacted me. I'm so happy your dad and I went back and forth, making sure everything in the application went through after like error after error after error and after error. How did you feel? Was this worth it? Was the boot camp worth it?
Yes, it definitely was. It was pretty fun.
It's cool. That's cool. Hannah, you there?
Yes,
Did you enjoy boot camp?
I did. I did a lot.
Why?
It helped me. It helped me find what I'm interested in, and like meeting a lot of new people and seeing their talents. It was really cool, and like just everyone just having a good time laughing. It was fun.
Man, I'm very blessed. Varsha, with the last word. Varsha, how'd you feel about Spot 127?
It was my first time doing it, and I really liked it because I got to talk to people, which I haven't done in a while. And, and I got to learn Photoshop, which was really fun. So thank you for that.
Remember, you have the Adobe Suite until the end of July. So keep going further. During this time, if you're not coming to summer, or if you have that week break in between summer session, go find some YouTube tutorials. Go learn something new. I'm always here. And when you make something new, drop it in the gallery before we close it out. For summer session, there'll be a new Discord and everything like that. I would like to. I can't bring her on camera right now, but can we all give a big round of applause for Big Boss? This one. Put this one together. And I think maybe the next time we do this, we'll be in Italy. And we can still do this from there. So
okay, we get it. You guys are rich and you're married. Jeez.
No, we're not rich. We're not rich. We are very humble. We are very humble in what we do. I would say this: I work hard. Kiara works smart. There's a big difference.
And we sell various of cars.
Very different.
I guess I'm gonna leave on one last thing, and then we call it for the end of the day. I want two things actually. Are you sure there's nothing we can improve on in the boot camp?
No,
Make it longer.
Make it longer.
That's the only thing I can suggest.
Okay. So here's the thing: when you guys say make it longer, right? When boot camp is on a physical location, boot camp is 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of you guys are used to that 4 hours, and we go on a field trip too.
Dang it!
Oh, like we did when we did our spring stuff.
Yeah.
We went to the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the bird.
10-man barman.
Yeah, there's so many. We went to the Birds one. We went to the MIM, which is the Music Instrument Art Museum, and you go there and film a commercial for that location. So you're actually trained to be on camera, script writing. Brooklyn, you do a voiceover and everything like that. You write your script. Joey, you would do the same thing where you're like actually interviewing people and getting sound bits out of them and stuff like that. And we show you how to do all the editing. Super, super cool. So that's one of the things we do. I guess the last thing I'll say is this. Let me leave you on a motivative statement or something like that. I also want to sneak in silent MVP Jose Perez hitting that smash like button on the stream.
The heart and soul. Hearts and cares.
Here we go. Last thing I want to leave you is this, guys. You made a lot of cool friends. You learned a lot of new skills. Follow Valentino on Twitch.
Where's he at, brother? Where's he at? Drop the handle.
I want you to know that you are a Spot student for life. So don't think that you can't come back and talk. Don't think that you can't come back and message. You guys have my email. You have Spot. We are there for you forever. When it comes down for scholarships, we can help you with those. When it comes down to technical advice, I know the question I get a lot through a text message at 2 o'clock in the morning from a random student. Hey, I'm on eBay looking at a camera. What camera should I buy? We're there for you. As long as Big Boss doesn't throw my phone into the other room when we sleep, we're good.
Wait, you should actually tell me what camera to get, though.
Yeah. No, we can always talk about that stuff. I'll always give you ideas and stuff like that. Joey, you did great. I love the fact that when you felt like you were stumbling, you knew how to correct it for the next time. So you did super good. The last thing I wanted to say is this. I love all of you in a non-threatening way. I'm proud of every single one of you. This is the best boot camp in the 9 years. In the 9 years, this is the best boot camp I've ever had. Give it up for Hamlet because I don't think I could have done it without him. He's been a big contribution to this. And Dan
Hamlet.
If I just want to say this, if there was to be another lockdown where you can't go to school, could be in the fall session, Spot is still going to be here. And you have to take this time and invest in yourself as a human being. What I mean is this: you got to come out with a new skill. You got to come out with a new hustle. You have to come out with a new brain, and you have to come out with a new look. I'm not talking about clothes. I'm not talking about shaving your head. I'm talking about a better feeling about yourself, that when you come out, people don't remember who you are because you've advanced so much in your life. Coming to Spot will help you do that. It's going to give you that support. Hannah, you are doing so good in life. It is okay to be scared of things, but don't stress. I'm here, just like I'm here for everyone else. You just got me a little bit more attached than everyone else. Okay? Okay?
Yeah.
Love you in a non-threatening way. Guys, go be great. I will see you later. Big Boss, cut the stream.
Oh my God, we did it.
Finally,
You guys did
it.
Are we
About to
done?
go.
You guys did it. You guys did great.
Trevor, you haven't
did
freestyled for us yet.
Well,
He did it.
No freestyling. No, I'm shy.
You have not
Freestyle,
freestyled
Trevor,
for us
freestyle.
yet.
No, I don't even think I
It's
know.
the last day. You got to.
I don't know.
My
No.
mom was
Do it, do
texting
it.
me the
I'll
whole
even drop a
time.
tweet for
When
you.
are you speaking?
Good
Can
thing.
you start already?
Oh, Barsha, where's she?
Yeah.
Dude, the crazy thing is this. During the chat, Big Boss comes over and is like, check the Facebook, check the
That's
Facebook.
what
I'm like,
got me
"What?"
meeting people.
And it was like, here's the thing. Real Salado came into our chat. Now let me explain. Spot 127 is part of KJZZ, which is a partner of Real Salado, who manages their social media, is one of like the biggest donors to Spot 127. And everyone's wondering, okay, like your schools, right? When they have online classes, it's a boring teacher. You know, everyone turns off their mic and like goes play Minecraft and stuff like that.
Call of Duty.
A Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what it's like. I know what it's like.
I do all day.
They're wondering what we're doing. So my whole thing was like, let's do the podcast because at least they get to see how many kids are here, how many kids are participating, like, and we make the production value look great. And you guys did that. As much as me and Big Boss can set up like these fancy words and borders and outlines and all this stuff, if you guys aren't prepared, if you guys can't talk, if you guys can't do it, it doesn't mean anything. Brooklyn and her podcast, or it's our podcast, but with Brooklyn, what do you call it? Hosting it, the word got out very quickly. And when I mean quickly, I'm talking the first 5 minutes of the podcast. And then that got shared to the higher ups, which then got shared to Real Salado. So I heard that Real Salado and other colleges were going to come in and check it out, but they always say that. They actually did it. So I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart that you have elevated Spot 127. That's your legacy. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Everyone, thank you. You left your legacy. That's what you want to do. So you're good. Joey?
Yes.
Are you have you stopped sweating yet? Sweating, because I know you're a host. You're like, oh man. There was one point when I was like, I think I was saying ass or something. Or I think I told Joey to mute his mic for the second time, and I see Joey do this.
Oh,
Like,
my God. Because I kept forgetting them. Oh.
yeah, but you did
Hey.
good.
Oh my
That was
God.
pretty good.
Joshua, stop muting people.
I know. I was so.
Stop.
Were you Joshua? Were you muting people?
She started it for like a 2-year-old.
That was good. That was
Joshua,
good.
go party.
Hey, yo,
I do.
Trevor,
Uh-huh.
want us to do one cool thing before you go?
Sure.
All right, check this out.
Is it in the lounge or what?
Nah, it's gonna be
Okay.
right here. Let's look
Is it
like
gonna
this,
be
right?
emotional? Because if I'm gonna cry, I want to be a part of it.
To be honest, I thought I was gonna cry today, but I'm so happy. That,
Oh my God.
Show us his murder done.
is that your setup?
Where are the memes?
That's a gorgeous setup, though.
I came here for memes.
I